Everybody. Over the past few weeks, we have been exploring the different parts of the body, looking at what makes things move, what makes things work, and today we finally get to look at how exactly a muscle contraction occurs. We use our muscles every single day to do many different tasks, even if it's just walking from class to class, picking up your pencil to write, or viewing this video, you are using many muscles. So today we're going to get to look at how exactly we get our muscles to work and what is going on at the biological level. So we're going to start off by watching this short video. It's only about 2 minutes long, and it's just going to give us a brief overview of what exactly the sliding filament theory of muscle contraction is.
Sliding filament theory is the mechanism by which muscles are thought to contract at a cellular level. An understanding of the structure of skeletal muscle is useful when learning how sliding filament theory works. Each muscle is made up of a number of bundles of muscle fibers. Each bundle of muscle fibers contains anywhere from 10 and 100 individual fibers. Each muscle fiber itself contains cylindrical organelles known as myofibrils, which themselves are bundles of proteins called actin and myosin. Surrounding the myofibril, there is a network of tubules and channels called the sarcoplasmic reticulum, where calcium is stored. Each myofibril can be broken down into functional repeating segments called sarcomeres. If we look at a two-dimensional model of a sarcomere, it consists of actin and myosin. When a nerve impulse arrives at the muscle, it causes a release of a chemical called acetylcholine. The presence of acetylcholine causes depolarization, enabling calcium to be released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. The calcium binds to troponin, changing its shape, and so moving tropomyosin from the active site of the actin. The myosin filaments can now attach to the actin, forming a cross bridge. The breakdown of ATP releases energy, which enables the myosin to pull the actin filaments inwards, contracting the muscle. This occurs along the entire length of every myofibril in the muscle cell. When an ATP molecule binds to the myosin head, the myosin detaches from the actin and the cross bridge is broken. When the ATP is then broken down, the myosin head can again attach to an actin binding site further along the actin filament and repeat the process. This repeated pulling of the actin over the myosin is often known as the ratchet mechanism. This process of muscular contraction can last for as long as there are adequate ATP and Ca+ stores. Once the nerve impulse stops, the Ca+ is pumped back to the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and the actin returns to its resting position, causing the muscle to lengthen and relax.
Perfect. All right. So we've watched a short video. You all should have your vocab sheets. We're just going to
If you want to ace your paper,
I just want to take a quick look at this. And you can see that it has all the different terms that you are going to be needing for this lesson. The video went over several of these terms, but we're going to look at them a little bit more in depth. For our Spanish speakers, we also have the version in Spanish. You will be given both versions so that you have both the English and the Spanish version, but you will have to write all your answers in English. I want you to take a look at all of your vocabulary words. As I said, we're going to take a little bit more of an in-depth look at them during our lesson today, but make sure that you have these words and their definitions memorized for the rest of our chapter. This is important because you are going to be using these in tests and quizzes and in future lessons. So these are your vocab sheets. Just make sure that you know them. By the end of this week, have them memorized. So you all also should have worksheets. The worksheets have two parts to them, and we are going to go through both parts together as a class. You see that the first part has several pictures, and then the second part also has several pictures. The second part focuses more on the process of the sliding filament theory, while the first part is more of terms and definitions. So let's start on the first page. We're going to work through this together, and this is going to be our lesson. You can see that we have 3 pictures. These are taken from our video today, and they have certain slots where we are going to write down the labels for each of these parts. At the bottom, you can see that we have several words. These are all the words that we are going to be going over. And what I need you to do is that when I explain the word, the part of the muscle fiber that we are going over, I need you to write down at least one sentence from my description of the word that we are talking about. So when I explain muscle fibers, from my explanation, I want you to write down at least one sentence of what a muscle fiber is. Try as much as possible not to look back at your vocab sheet to get the answer. I might be going a little fast. I will try not to go too fast, but if you do get stuck and you need to look back at your vocab sheet to get a little bit more information, that's okay. But I really want you to get your sentence from my explanation and not from your vocab sheet.